Welcome back to Run of Show, where we go behind the scenes of the event industry, one story at a time. Today's guest is someone who brings creativity into just about everything he does. I'm sitting down with Johnny Lee, and we're talking about his journey through music, his work through Pearce Bespoke, and what it means to build relationships, make connections, and create a name for yourself in the community. From music and personal style to business and networking, Johnny has a great story, and we cover a little bit of everything. Let's get into it. Okay.
Hey.
Yay!
We finally got up here.
We finally got, I'm telling you, have you lived here your whole life?
About 27 years.
27 years,
I mean,
long time.
in the grand scheme of things, I guess, yes.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't move here until 1999. It was right before New Year's in 1999.
1999.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I got here, watched everybody panic about Y2K. That was interesting. I was off of staying at a friend of my mom's house right off of Bauer. I remember that distinctly because I could go outside. I remember never realizing how to get back to that address again. But yeah. Yep. So.
And now, so I know you from music. We'll get back to that. But right now you've got this whole new venture going on.
Yeah.
With, what's it called again exactly?
It's Pearce Bespoke, custom clothing.
Bespoke, custom clothing.
Yeah.
So what exciting things have you got going on with that?
It is a lot. It's been interesting. I've been trying to take the same approach that I have been with music with this. It's something that I'm passionate about. So like a lot of things that I have going on right now is wedding season. People getting ready for the black tie events, some galas going on with some of the companies, stuff like that. So it's been really interesting trying to make something special for every individual person versus them having to go to like a store and then everybody shows up in a black coat and everybody shows up in a black dress. You know? So now everybody can kind of get their own little thing and they'll be able to show it off and say, I got this, or I made this. And that makes my heart happy.
Yeah. Well, I've heard a lot of good things. I know Nicole's is an ambassador with us at the chamber, and she got her red jacket.
Yeah.
And now everybody's going, I think I need that too.
Yeah.
I think because we wear that red jacket so much.
Everywhere.
And so it'd be nice to have that. So we're all going to get on your list. For sure.
Please do. Like I said, even being a part of the chamber, first of all, has been amazing. You guys are so supportive, and I figured, that was one of the first things that stood out to me is like everybody's wearing red. I even remember asking Neil about the same thing. I was like, where do you guys get the jackets from? And he was like, we kind of just order them. And I was like, the first thing in my head was like, you guys are all here as far as a collective for the chamber, but you all are different. I would love to be able to build that, to where you have to wear red, but everybody can show off, hey, I like this, or hey, I like this inside, just your own personal jacket kind of thing.
Right, and the fit is so much better.
Fit is definitely, that way it's yours. You never have to question about, can I find it? Is it going to fit? Kind of knock out two birds with one stone.
Right, yeah. And I remember Shantae got up at the lunch and she was like, man, the whole experience is wonderful. Oh my gosh. We'll get back to that, but I wanted to start by, so you've been here since 1999. Where'd you come from?
So kind of all over. Single mom, only child, so military family. My mom was in the military for between 25 and 26 years, I think. I could be off about that. Sorry, Mom, if you hear this. But so I grew up mainly in Virginia Beach. So born in San Diego, grew up mainly in Virginia Beach. All my family, about 98% of my family is in Baltimore, Maryland. So if I ever come across anybody that says they live in or are from Baltimore, we're probably related.
Oh, wow.
I would not be surprised. I have a pretty big family, pretty widespread out there. So, but grew up in Virginia Beach, family from Baltimore, and then kind of just traveled back and forth throughout there until I kind of came here back in '99.
Yeah. And so what made you stick here? Now, how old were you then? Were you in school still?
Yeah, I was in high school. Yep.
Yeah, you were in high school. So what made you stay here? Because most people, they want to get away from their hometown. This isn't necessarily your hometown, but high school, that's long enough.
Yeah, it's interesting because I did hear Pensacola has that I forget what the name of it's called, but it's like, I guess rumor for lack of a better word, where it's like, if you grow up here, you try to leave and you always come back. But if you come here late, but if you come here later in your life, you immediately want to take off, especially like military people who are just so used to just, bouncing from place to place. And I kind of fell into both of that, where, I got here, right as a senior in high school. And immediately was like, oh, I want to go back to Virginia. Virginia's so much bigger, and I wanted to miss my friends, just that nostalgia there.
Yeah.
But immediately, Pensacola's not huge by any metric, but it feels like a big city. But everybody knows each other. It's kind of like the same way the internet. It's like this huge little small town,
Yeah.
And that's kind of the main reason I stayed is, you go to work and you meet people, and I'm a workaholic. So, you bounce from place to place to place to place, and you finally get a chance to kind of settle down and get to know, your environment. I just kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It's
a really great place.
It is.
Yeah. A lot of people who leave, they come back because they realize after they get out there, like, no, this is pretty great.
Yep. So, and that's pretty much what happened with me is, I got here, and at first, the first, maybe year or two, I was like, oh, I want to go, there's not much to do. But then you become an adult and you realize there's a lot to do, again, workaholic. So, I can't stay idle for too long. And then doing all of that throughout these years, you just met some, just really incredible people, lots of good life experiences, not all the greatest, but you grow up, you learn, But yeah, it's and now it's home. It's just home to me. Even if my business pushed me beyond Pensacola, Pensacola's always going to be home. I'll always have a home here.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I say. After trying to get away a couple of times and coming back, I said, no, this is the place to be. I just want to travel as much as I possibly can.
Exactly.
And we're lucky here because we have the beach on one side, we have the woods on the other side. We have, so you can go to the beach, you can go to the river. We have an international airport. New Orleans is 3 hours away. And then here, if you say you're bored, you're not trying.
No. Yeah.
There's so much to do.
There is.
Go to visit Pensacola.
Yeah. You can drive literally in a straight line one direction and see all kinds of different versions of, of what this area has to offer. If you want to stay coastal, just drive east. If you want to see kind of entertainment, drive, northwest. It's just interesting.
Now, I want to get to know you really good. Are you married? Do you have kids?
Nope.
Single ladies. Single, good looking, professional.
Yeah.
Now, so I know you because of Seville.
Yeah.
And doing all those things. How long have you been with them?
I've been at Seville pushing 17 years. 17 years, part of the dueling piano show, and then right at about 18 doing between 18 and 20ish, having like live bands and playing around downtown, and then playing at Seville, and then one of those nights turned into 17 years later playing at the piano show. So yeah.
Now, are you a magician? A magician?
Yes.
Music.
Yeah. So, if you ask some people who come to the piano shows, some people will probably tell you that.
Right?
Yeah.
A musician by trade, or is just something a hobby?
It's something that I've always done. My mom was very musical. She was in the bands on the aircraft carriers and some of the ships that she was on. So she would come back from her 6 to 8 month long med cruises and come back with she's like, Johnny, I bought a piano, or Johnny, I bought a bass, right? I have drums. So even when I was kind of growing up in the house, kind of by myself while she was out, and then I had her friends and family kind of watching over me. I was always kind of surrounded by some kind of musical instrument. Yeah. Ironically, piano was technically my first instrument, but I hated it.
Typical.
I did not like it. I sat down. I was like, oh, this makes cool sounds. But at the moment it became formal, let's take lessons. I didn't like doing it. I didn't like doing it at all. I didn't like being pressed up against the wall with my back to everybody. And so I never really touched it again, full as even in playing music around downtown. I never really touched it again until I got to Seville and I had to reteach myself all over again. Okay. Yeah.
Now, how does that work? I'm amazed that you can play every song. Is there a trick to? I know with guitar, there's drop D. You can play anything in drop D. Is there something like that with the piano that you can?
Kinda. If you have an ear for music, it's piano is kind of just linear. You can kind of figure out where you need to be. Right. For me, it's kind of the same thing with my clothing company. It's there's little details that I end up paying attention to that I usually at that point, just like, you may listen to, this part of the song and this part of the song, but there'll be one thing in the middle of the song that'll stand out to me and I can't let it go. So my best friend, the one who passed away last year, he was like, you ruined songs for me. And I was like, because I pick up on that one little thing and I can't let it go. And then it becomes just a vocal stem forever. So like learning the songs on theirs, there's like, as I'm trying to learn a song for you, especially if I've never heard it before, there's like a puzzle piece in my head going on to where you'll see me on stage with my phone up to my ear, and it's like I'm putting together pieces of a puzzle, and then kind of, being able to kind of put it back as well as I can back on the piano for you the best way that I just heard it.
Right.
It's weird. It's weird thing to kind of explain. It's not synesthesia where I see colors. It's just like there's a pattern that's happening that I can kind of, it's almost like math and numbers for me.
Right, yeah. Well, you have a musical mind.
Yeah.
Now, do you play other instruments?
Piano, bass, drums, guitar, of course, sing and play. And then I have a trumpet at home. I'm okay at it. I would like to get much better at it. And then violin, just because I've been at the piano show, I can tinker around, but I'd never play it live until I got better at it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Most people that are musically inclined they play all the things.
Most of them, you'll find some who like, if they play one, they'll work on another one. You find a lot of people who, if they play bass, they may play drums just because there's, that certain level of rhythm keeping. People who play, guitar might play piano or vice versa, just because there's a certain level of, well, this shape makes this and this shape makes this and this shape makes this kind of thing. So you'll see a lot of back and forth.
Right.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter she's a musician.
Oh, nice.
She was playing clarinet and then oboe in concert.
Okay.
She plays saxophone and marching band.
Yeah.
And she does the visual and percussion.
Okay.
And then at home she tinkers with the bass and the ukulele
Nice.
and things like that. Yeah.
Nice.
I say she plays like 5 to 7 different instruments.
Wow.
Yeah, and she absolutely loves it. She was playing with the Pensacola Youth Symphony.
Oh, nice.
And I think she's going to continue to play with them. And now she's going to PSC in the fall, and she's going to be playing with their orchestra.
Nice. Yeah, I went to PSC. She'll have a good time over there. She'll have a real good time. But yeah, the same thing, all those different woodwinds is just, shapes. So yeah, that's cool. I would love to get to know, I would love to be able to play some of the instruments that she's playing, because there's just, sound dynamics with some of those are just incredible.
Right. Now, is music your profession or your hobby?
Both.
Yeah?
I am, again, as the reference to my best friend, or actually both of them. I have one that passed away last year, and then one that I've known pretty much the entire time since I've been in Pensacola. They always pick on me. They said, taking road trips with me is an adventure twice, because if I am in charge of the music, you never know what you're going to get.
Oh, yeah.
I listen to literally everything.
Right.
So a lot of times if we're taking a road trip, I'll say, what do you want to listen to? Don't leave it up to my playlist.
Right.
So music has always kind of been a thing that I've gone back to. As much as of a workaholic as I have been, having 2, 3, at sometimes 4 different jobs, music has always been the thing that, has always kind of kept me grounded. If I'm working on something at home, usually music is playing. Even nowadays, with my current career set up, it's, I can't sit down and design a suit unless there's music playing. I can't.
Right. Gotta get your groove.
Yeah, if there's no music playing in the background, my mind goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing with, making suits. It's like, it kind of gives me something to really hone in on. So, but yeah, music has always been a hobby, and I wish I would have kind of taken it a little bit more seriously. Maybe 20 years ago.
Right.
On top of the 20 years that I have been now, and just really just honed in. I think but then again, I probably wouldn't have been here. So I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be.
Yes. So now you're with Pearce Bespoke. Now, how did that evolve from music to clothing?
It's kind of a weird hopscotch of things that happened all at once. So if you've seen me downtown, you know that one, my weight has always been up and down. In this past 5 years, I think I've lost 70 pounds. But like looking, making a first impression, especially when you're sitting on stage trying to play a song for somebody, whether it be nostalgia or somebody gives you, money and says, hey, play this song, you've never heard it before. You want to try to make a good first impression. And with that, playing music, you know, you don't want to get on stage and look sloppy or unapproachable. Right. So that's been a big thing for mine for years, is, you know, I never wanted to look unapproachable, because when you're just over 6 foot and you have a big beard and you're covered in tattoos and you're not really known for walking around with a big smile, you kind of look unapproachable. So I kind of try to dress in a way that just says, hey, come talk to me, it's okay, my face may say something different, but come talk to me. Right. So with that being a thing, fast forward to earlier this year, I actually ended up getting a phone call from the CEO of this company saying, I've heard things about you. Oh. And I didn't believe him, so I hung up. I didn't know who this was. I was like, gosh. I don't know who you are. This is weird, because again, playing music full time, you get people who are like, I have a record company, and it's just Kevin in his basement. So it's, I didn't take him seriously. And he's like, no, I think this would be a good fit. I've heard a lot about you. I heard about, your stance on just looking presentable and kind of being fashion forward while you're trying to do this. And he said, I think we will work out great. And, fast forward to now, he was right. This is something that, I've done merchandising before. I've worked in the mall before. I've done, fashion forward things, but being able to do it at my own pace this is new, and this is interesting. Right.
So
Yeah.
tell me, what is it exactly? So you fit people for clothes, but there's more to it than that.
There's a little bit more to it than that. So kind of think of me as you're kind of Genie with a trunk with a trunk in his trunk. Instead of you having to go to a store, because we all have that issue where something pops up out of nowhere and you look at your closet and you're like, I hate everything in here. And then you try to get ready, you do your hair, you do your makeup if you do makeup, and you get back out of the shower, out of the bathroom, doing your thing, you go back to the closet and you look in here, it's like, I hate everything in here. And then you just grab something and go. And then that stays on your mind when something comes up, whether it be a wedding or just maybe a business casual event, or, the black tie event that's notorious around Pensacola, where, around between, now and February, everybody's doing the black tie events. And you try to rush to a store and find something, or you try to go rent something. So what I do is I take all of that out. Instead of you having to go to a store, my business model is I'm completely mobile. I come to you where you're the most comfortable or where you have the most allotted time. So whether that be at your house, if you're on the go constantly and you have, an office space, I'll come to the office space and I'll grab your measurements and you tell me, what you're looking for, and I build from there. So I get to know little things about you, kind of like with the music thing. I'll get to know like that one little thing that you may not realize that you do, I do.
Right.
If you have a lot of greens, you have a lot of blues in your closet, but you don't have nothing else, usually my first question is, are these the colors that you feel most comfortable in? Or, do you have like a red, green, blue deficiency somewhere that maybe you just haven't picked up on? Right. Because then that tells me what colors to stay away from. Right. I have a buddy of mine, speaking of with that, where, a lot of his, what we see in normal colors started off with him as color blindness, and now even that's kind of going, down. So I'm starting to build stuff for him where, the color of the shirt or the pattern of he can see the patterns, but the color of the shirt is going to be sewn in under the collar here. So if something happens and he's just not sure, but somebody's like, oh yeah, the wedding colors are all, green and maroon. Well, to him, those are two shades of the same color. Right. So this one will say green, this one will say maroon, and he'll know. This goes with this goes with this. And all he has to do is just put the patterns he wants to wear together. Right. So things like that. So, if you want somebody who actually takes the time to get to know you and is here locally, and, by then I have all your measurements, all you would have to do at that point is just call me and say, hey, I need this for this. Right. Done. Versus you having to go to a store, worry about hours, worrying about who's going to be there. Whereas the last person that helps you still there. Right. I'm the only one now. Pretty much all of Florida who can do this. So even if you're in Miami and you're just like, hey, John, I got my measurements at one time, and I need to get a bright purple suit for this Mardi Gras thing that we're going to do down here, call me. Right. And I'll have that saved. I'll know your measurements, and then in about 4 weeks I get it to you.
That's awesome. Yeah. See, one of my problems is I love black. Yeah. I mean, it's just easy. Yeah. And I see, and I'm not a very fashionable person, but I see all these things out there that are so pretty and so great. the cut, the style. And I'm like, does it come in black? I'm seriously thinking about just buying stuff and dyeing it black anyway. But I'm like, that probably won't work the way I think it will in my head.
Right.
So that's,
Even with that, so I mean, that would be something that I would pick up on you as well. Like if you naturally just go to black, like if that's your style choice, that's your style choice. I'm not here to sway you one way or another. But if you know what works for you, I can build around that. I'm not gonna make you, come out of the house in all black.
Well, that's
and
me,
like,
all black on black.
But
the style.
Yeah, the style.
I
at least I have to put some thought behind it.
Yeah.
That way, if you get something from me and that's your style, your color choice, at least you have something that's styled around, what makes you happy, what makes you comfortable. Do you have an active lifestyle? Are you going to be outside? Are you going with the commerce from place to place to place to place to place to place?
Right.
And is this jacket and pants? Are they going to get hot? Are you gonna, are you gonna feel heavy? It's Florida. It's 1,000 degrees outside right now, with a chance of 1,000% humidity and maybe a sprinkle of rain. So is this gonna work for you for those months where you're gonna be at the busiest? Right. Things like that are things that I kind of look out for.
Now, when did you say you started doing this?
Doing the business part of it this year. Early this year, yeah.
And fitting clothes. Because I'm saying we're about, like you said, we're about to come into this busy season.
Busy season, yeah.
This will be your first busy season with.
Yeah, on this side of it, yeah. Helping people get dressed and find things has always been like a thing for me. But now being able to make it and do it and provide it is a different experience, which I'm looking. I'm almost nervous about it, but not quite. Like I'm not going to do anything outside of my capacity. But then again, it's up to our imagination at that point.
Right.
If you say, hey, I want a long coat with this thing on the side, some shoulder pads, and a little swirl right here.
Right.
The only thing I'm thinking about is, okay, can I get that to you in 4 weeks?
Right.
Yeah. So. That's interesting.
I love it. I'm just, in my mind, I'm going through my mind, I could do this and this and this and this. Because I love the fashion that's out there, but it doesn't come in black.
Yep. And now in this case, it does, Right. Anything you can think of, the only thing I'm limited to are like very elaborate, like gowns.
Right.
But, I can still do men's, women's, children's clothing. Business casual all the way up to as elaborate as you want to get. Like just the gowns part of it, I have the materials to make and create that kind of stuff, but I want to make sure that I stay within that 4 week,
right.
That kind of stuff. That separates me from, the other big box stores around here or the other custom items around here, is that I can, from me sitting down with you, getting your measurements, get to know you, get the colors, get the fabrics, get everything, the textures, figuring out the event, get your budget for things like that, all the way to getting it back on you is 4 weeks.
Right,
I'm hard on that.
That's pretty good for a custom outfit or a custom whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to make sure I stay within that one.
Now, have you had emergency calls yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You have the people who you chat with, and it's like, hey, this is what I do, and let me introduce myself. Maybe they've known you for forever, and they're like, oh, not right now. The ubiquitous. Well, I'm going to lose weight. I'm working on this. I got to lose weight. And then 3 weeks later, they're like, I got a wedding invitation and I got to be there in 2 weeks.
Gosh.
And it's like, okay, I'll see what I can try to do. I'll do my best. But I've had one emergency situation where we had to get something done in about 2.5 weeks, and I was able to get it done. Thank God.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But so.
And 2.5. What was it? What was the piece?
It was a 3-piece suit.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, but we were able to get it done. We worked with some of the stuff that he had, some shirts and stuff that we had. We went shopping for shoes. We went shopping for his bow tie. Normally I would be able to make the bow tie, but I was like, let's just go ahead and get you a bow tie. Right. Do you know how to tie a bow tie?
Right.
So we got the little things that we needed, and we were able to build a 3-piece suit out. So about 2.5 weeks. It was scary because the wedding was the next day.
Right. You better have a backup.
Yeah. In this case, he didn't, because he had also gone through he donated a bunch of his clothes out, and had lost weight. So anything that he still had didn't fit. And some of the alterations, and I like to use the local alteration shops here. I can do it myself, but it's just easier for me to spread the love here. You got people who are trying to make their livelihood doing it. Why not give them an opportunity to continue doing so? But even with that, it would take them more than a week to get it altered after I got it to them. So I was like, we have to make sure everything's perfect. But yeah, we got it on him. We got it delivered the night before the wedding, and we got it on him. It was like at 11:30. He went through like a case of beer. I pulled out whatever hair. I grew my hair out just to pull it back out. My beard is like 6 inches shorter because we got it on him at 11 o'clock that night, and 8 o'clock in the morning he was on his way to the wedding.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then of course he's going to be in all the pictures.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
So it was good. It was good. Yeah.
Now, let's get into, since we're talking about events, let's get into events. So you've done a lot. I mean, most recently you just had your like ribbon cutting there at the district, you know, and then you do all the Seville, and you do the bingo too. I've been there when you've done bingo.
Yeah, I did the bingo for a little while. Yeah.
I mean, like, are you an event person in general? Or you just kind of, that's what happened?
Kind of both. I end up always finding myself in situations where people kind of gravitate towards me. And at first I was scary when I was a kid. But now, it's something that I've always kind of rolled with. Even in days where I might not be having the best of days at all. Again, this is one of those things where I was like, never mind my face, just come talk to me.
Yeah.
It's been that, so I've kind of grown really comfortable and gathering people. Like I want people to meet people. I want people to see what I see in other people, because I'm a big goofball. When I'm not thinking about 10,000 things, the stupidest little jokes make me crack up. And I like gathering people in settings to where we can just kind of throw away some of the other issues that's going on, and we can just sit and just laugh together. There's something healing about that, to get around a bunch of people who are just trying to just for a couple of minutes just escape, get together, laugh. With bingo, people who tell you who've been to bingo will tell you don't take anything I say seriously up here. I'm just making the jokes, and same thing with music. I get up there and you try to make a joke, even if somebody's giving you a really, really song that has a lot of meaning to it. You want to make sure you're capturing the meaning behind that song, but you're also trying to make sure that person's having a good time. So a lot of my interpersonal life is really kind of just gathering people.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoy the dueling pianos.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a Seville person, but my daughter, Susan, she was a cocktail waitress there at Rosie Grady's, and so I would go all the time and just hang out and watch her work, and then see, and you are definitely an entertainer, for sure. We always have such a great time. Now, you didn't always were a great entertainer, I imagine. Tell me about an event that wasn't so great.
Oh, man. You kind of learn and you grow, especially with music, and then now with the suiting company. I could probably give you some examples of both. With music, nothing like being underprepared and overconfident is the big thing. With over the years, when I was first starting out, the confidence level was there about, I played in this band and I was able to do this and I went to here, and you do something like, a piano show, and then the piano show is hired for a private event, and you don't do any homework about that private event.
Did that happen?
It did.
Oh, tell me about
early. Yeah, it was booked. I was booked for a private event. And back then, just young, ready to go, ready to get out there, hungry, trying to do it, but not really thinking about the long game. I didn't know anything about the people who were coming, got booked up there, showed up, and, just ready to go. And, as people were coming in, I really didn't notice the pattern that was happening of the people who were coming in. So I see a couple people sitting down right in front of the stage, a couple people sitting off to the side, and I jumped, hey, my name is Johnny, ready to play some songs for you guys. Let me know what you want to hear. If you're anything like that, ready to go and play, da-da-da-da. More people coming in, and I'm just playing. I'm just, looking around. I was like, hey, okay, I'll keep playing, but if there's something you want to hear, let me know. Keep playing. And I realized that this is a birthday party for an elderly person who is also quite hard of hearing. So they had no idea that any of the stuff that I was doing was for them. And if I'd have done just a little bit of research,
right.
I would have been able to kind of figure that out. But, came in headstrong, too hot, didn't really think about it. And so that was a very humbling thing, because it was from that point on where, just in any situation, read the room, take a second, take a breath, you know, even if you're in those big emotional states, you know, take a beat, take a breath, read the room. Is what you're doing right now really contributing in the most healthy and beneficial way to you and to everybody around you and to the environment around that? You know, if it's not, take a beat, look around, kind of figure out what's going on. And that was one big lesson I learned from that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Because music is the key.
It's a key thing. And if you start off on the wrong foot, going in there hot and heavy and not really seeing what's going on, you know, I would have been able, you know, hindsight, absolutely 2020. If, you know, had I known that this was, you know, just a birthday party, they wanted low key and there were certain kinds of songs they were looking for. If I'd have just paid attention to that, you know, I would have been able to pick up on it. But now I'm just a loud guy on the stage, you know. So, yeah, I learned real quick that day.
Yeah, imagine you've developed your pre-show checklist.
Yes,
since then.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a thing for about details, but when it, like I said, showmanship, it was just, you know, again, I was just young and hungry, just wanted to get out there and just go and you know, show off, and not really show off like I'm the best, but like show off as in like, you know, I can meet a challenge. And yeah,
like
and
you hired me because I'm great.
Yeah, and now let me show how great I am, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, whoops. So yeah, one of those, but take a sip, sorry.
Absolutely. So tell me now, you've gone and learned, and tell me what was one of your favorite events that you did and what made it so special.
One of my favorite events, well, first the ribbon cutting. I'm gonna start there.
The district.
Yeah,
nice,
that
fancy.
went. Yeah, that came out a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah.
Because you see a lot of ribbon cuttings, not bashing anybody's ribbon cutting, but you see a lot of them, and it's just like a gathering, and it's like, you know, celebrating that person and the business being open, and it's kind of like, okay, everybody shows up, okay, congratulations, shake hands and go. Right. And I didn't want to have that. I wanted people to kind of get to know each other. You know, I wanted, again, I like gathering people in spaces. And it was also an opportunity to say, you know, outside of some of these networking events and the B&Is and the, you know, all of those kind of style things where you really only have about 30 seconds to really show who you are and show who you are. Like, I wanted to use this event like, this is what I do. You know, this is, you know, it's not just, you know, hey, what kind of suit do you want? All right, that's going to be $1,100. You know, like, it was like, you know, what do you need this for? When do you need it by? Where do you see yourself wearing? And then you can see the whole process of, you know, this is why I measure you this way. You know, this is where I would normally place it. Do you like the placement on this? How you like your clothes to fit? That turned into just a nice experience that I wish I could have let go on for the rest of the night, honestly. You know, just music in the background, you know, people kind of hanging out, kind of getting to know each other. You know, and it was just a big deal because, you know, this was me sitting at the most vulnerable state saying, you know, this is what I'm going to do for the city. And then the city holding me accountable for it. Right. You know, doing a ribbon cutting is saying, okay, you know, all of Florida, you know, but especially Pensacola is, you know, this is what I'm doing.
That's how I felt when I did my ribbon cutting. It was like my coming out party.
Yeah.
You know, it's like my show to society. Like, here I am.
Here I am.
Arrived.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, now you got to hold me accountable. You know, I set these standards in some of these meetings and doing some of the groundwork. And now it's like a big deal to where, you know, and I'm going to show you what I'm able to do, give you a little bit more detail about it. But now everybody in this community, you know, is going to hold you accountable. You know, you can't come out and say you make custom clothing with a perfect fit guarantee and then not do that. Right. You know, so that's a big thing. So that was a big thing. That's a win. But I think, again, with you know, another big win between the two was honestly between the ribbon cutting and then the following weekend for the piano show. They kind of ended up running together. Again, some of those same people who did not know who I was from just, they knew me from the business part, had never heard of me playing piano. So they ended up coming back that weekend, and it was eye-opening for them, you know, to kind of play and pull the people together. I was like, hey, you know, come to ribbon cutting and you want to hang out, get your measurements, but also be, you know, across the street this weekend. And some people came over, they were like, what do you mean across the street this weekend? I was like, oh, the piano show. You know, like, we didn't even know you played any music, you know. And they came, hung out, and it was really interesting getting to know, like, Again, I pick up on things. So getting to know like the people's, favorite bands, what kind of music they like. It's like, oh, you really like Ray LaMontagne? I love Ray LaMontagne. We should talk about this. We could sit and talk for hours about, this music and getting to know people and seeing another side of some of the people after business happy hour and after all these different networking events and all the chamber people who are out, bright and early as soon as the sun's coming up, trying to do all the stuff and getting a chance to kind of just be themselves at night.
Yeah.
I consider that a win, for somebody to kind of get both sides of me within the same 2-day time span.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the district, like I said, it was nice. I was
you.
late, but,
Oh, no.
I loved your setup. You had that big backdrop.
Yeah.
And you had your table with all your displays. Really nice. And then the district itself, with the couches, it was very relaxed atmosphere. But it was really great. The little bit that I got to attend.
Yeah. And I'm going to try to do more of those. Honestly, like I said, that, I want to figure out a place to hold gatherings, but I also want to, if there's other places around, excuse me, I have the hiccups, that, want to do something like that, just gather people. I would love to do that. I would love to, help out and facilitate that in any way possible.
Well, let me know, because that's what I do.
Yes. Yes.
I love throwing parties.
Yes.
And that's one of the things with being a member of the chamber and ambassador. We go to the ribbon cuttings and the grand openings and all the after hours. It's like one nonstop party. There's food and drinks and swag. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's why I do events. So now tell me, what are your tips and tricks for navigating an event?
So I'm a big person on outlining the goal first. Like if I'm having an event, what is the goal of that event? Is the goal of the event to, push music? Is it, showing the business side? Is it to get sales from that event? If we're being completely honest, you want to hold an event like that for your business, you're trying to get, a sale from it.
Right.
So the tips and tricks is look at the big picture first. What is it that you're trying to achieve? And then from that point, keep on all the most important thing. Who the most important thing is, the people. How many people do you want there? Are these, is the event time and place going to work with the people that you want there? How do you get the people that you want there?
Right.
And then from that, do your best to just be yourself and create an atmosphere that represents you and the event as best as possible. Don't overcomplicate it. People like to eat, mingle, and socialize. So if you get them a chance to eat, mingle, and socialize,
there you go.
Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to create the party and then be the life of it either.
Right. Yeah. Events are I love throwing events. And I always say the best events aren't just attended, they're talked about.
Yes.
And that's what you do. I believe, especially with the piano, dueling pianos all the time. We're like, oh my gosh, this song and that song, that was great. I remember my daughter when she turned 30, we celebrated there, and she, just like a lot of other birthday people, she was up on the piano, and then, we had such a great time.
Oh, Susie, that's so great.
Now, tell me, if people want to work with you, what can they do to prep? What do they need to know before they meet with you?
So on the whole spectrum of things, you can either know absolutely everything that you're looking for or absolutely nothing. The only thing I ask for that is give me an opportunity to learn where you are in that spectrum. If you know how you like things to look and how you like things to fit and things like that, invite me to that information. If you don't have any idea how things fit, it's like, why is cotton versus better than this? Or why wool, everybody thinks wool is this and why, and if you're looking for some exploratory things like that, invite me into that. Let me know. Because I am all ears. I'm here to help as much as I possibly can in whatever capacity that may be for that person. So the easiest way to prep is, have an idea of what you're looking for, or have an idea of what services you're needing. And then I can help, push you along the way and say, hey, okay, let's start here. Let's work with this. Let's do this. What kind of stuff do you like? What do you not like? For me, I know a lot of other people think of it like salesman pitchy. But for me, it's a genuine question when I ask you what your budget is. A lot of people think, they hear that and they immediately think car lot. Because they're like, oh, what's your budget? Well, it's like $30,000 for a car. And they're like, oh, okay, so we're going to get you right at $30,000.
Right.
With me, it's the exact opposite. You know, I don't want you to start shopping for stuff that is well beyond what we can do.
Right.
But on the adverse, you know, if your budget is $2,000 and you're going to this gala and you're trying to look your best, then I'm going to make sure that we get everything that you are looking for within that budget.
Right.
You know, I'll keep you there. And then from there on, if your budget changes as we move forward or things like that, I can adjust. But at least it gives me a starting point. Because if I'm not able to help you in creating something for you, I'll still be the same person that says, you know what, get in the car, let's go shopping.
Right.
You know, I have an idea, same with that guy with the wedding suit. You know, let's go figure out what we can do. You know, because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. You know, but I want to make sure that I am able to meet everything that you possibly could need, even if it's for one item or 100 items throughout the life of our relationship. You know, I want to make sure that I'm able to cover everything that you could possibly need.
Now, see, what I would like, because now I'm starting to generate some ideas. Because, like I said, I'm not a very fashionable person. I'm jeans and t-shirt, always have been. And I've always tried to go beyond, and it never works out. When I get dressed up, I go to my daughter. And I'm like, fix me. But I would like to start to build a wardrobe. I know they have those capsule wardrobes. You're like, this many shirts, this many pants. That's something. Is that something that you could help?
Yes.
You know, we'll start with this piece, knowing that we're going to build onto it, you know, as time goes by.
Absolutely. That's actually, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually one of the key things that I do. I think that really separates me from, you know, any of the clothing stores outside of the gowns that you may go to anywhere is I will always try to build, especially for women, because you guys have a lot of choices, but you don't have a lot of options, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, especially with working with women, I try to make sure that anything that we can create isn't one of those items that, as we talked about earlier, where you get, you know, you have to go to this event. You find out 2 days before, you're getting ready for the event the day of, you get out of the shower and you open your closet door and you're like, I hate everything in here. I don't want to add to that by creating a piece that stands so far left of everything that you have that you can't use it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I can only wear this one time.
So I don't do that unless that is exactly what you want that item for. And even if that's the case, I still try to, you know, put a lot of versatility into what you're getting. So I guess to answer your question with that is, you know, I'll always try to make sure that as we're building, as we're learning, as I'm learning about you, you're learning about me, to always remind you, one, I can create anything. You know, there's certain things that I cannot do on both ends. The gowns, like I said, elaborate gowns I can't do. And then t-shirts, it is just not financially responsible for me to create a t-shirt for you. That's going to cost you more than you going to somebody local and getting exactly what you want in a t-shirt. If that's what the idea for that t-shirt is. Now, if you're looking for just like, you know, polos and, you know, nicer shirts, business casual, all the way up to like white tie stuff, you know, we can pick apart and, you know, say, okay, well, you know, I made this red jacket for you that works for you when you go to the chamber events. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to kind of tailor it to where, you know, you can throw on a nice pair of, you know, wide leg trousers and like a black button up under it, and now you have an outfit. You can use these same trousers that we'll build for another coat or another outfit that you may have in there, and then I'll maybe build a blouse that you can interchange with all three of those. So now you don't just have one piece, you have 4 outfits.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
And yes, I will make pockets everywhere.
I
will put pockets everywhere.
And one of the things I don't like about pants, especially when you have the buckle and you got the zipper and all that, and it seems like it's so much fabric.
Yes.
I like pockets, but something that maybe zips in the back or on the side, so that I don't have that extra material.
And with that, so with the clothing, you know, pockets are going to be where pockets are, but you know,
be able to put stuff in them.
Yes, I will make sure the pockets are deep enough or wide enough, which also is not really an option everywhere. Instead of just a little side slant for a pocket, I can also make the pockets just wider in general. You know, we can add patch pockets to stuff, so you have extra storage.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Can you add pockets to things? Because I have some like jackets and stuff. I'm like, man, if I just had a pocket, it would just make my life so much better.
For example, like these are pants that I've made for myself. So I could, with this fabric, you and I could have the exact same fabric, right? So we're both wearing the same jeans or same chino jeans. But mine would have maybe a couple extra pockets on the back, and then pockets on the side, but are kind of invisible, where yours would have like maybe some patch pockets on the side, and a little extra storage on the back, maybe deeper pockets, and maybe an additional pocket behind that pocket. So like if you don't plan on carrying like a purse or a clutch all day, that you can say, hey, I need to put, a couple of bills and my ID in this, and maybe after work I'm gonna go out, and I can put that in a pocket, zip that pocket up, and then now it's on me. If I go to this event, hang out, I don't have to worry about, did I bring my purse? Did I bring my jacket? Did I sit this down somewhere? It's on you. And it's not impeding on your regular pocket stuff. And these are the same two pants. It's just yours is made differently because there's something specific for you that you needed that I don't need in mine. You know, but yeah.
See, that's one thing I like, because I always say, I need cargo pants. I don't want to wear cargo pants.
Because you don't want to wear cargo pants.
But I'm like, because I go doing ribbon cuttings and I'm always running around. I don't always want to carry my purse. So I'll just like my key and maybe, a couple of little things. And then I worry about, am I going to drop my ID out of my pocket? Right. Because I didn't want to carry my purse. So now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm start making a list.
I'll have you I'll make sure, unless you specifically don't want it, ladies specifically, I will always put pockets in your clothes. You have a struggle. But yeah, whether it's just regular pockets, deep pockets, however you want it to be built, I'm glad to assist in that.
Right. That's awesome. So you've got us covered.
I got you covered.
From casual to dressy, pockets, and then you can add stuff to I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it.
And
that's a game changer.
Yeah. And then I'll always make sure I take your current wardrobe into consideration. So if you have stuff that you really like and we start building stuff together, that's usually my first question. Is well, if we're gonna meet, let's meet at. Is it okay for us to meet at maybe your place? You show me some things that you really love in your closet, some things that you're just like and things that you want to build on. And I will always make sure. That way, again, those top three, when do you need it? What is your budget? And how do you like your things to fit? Now that's why. Your budget tells me exactly what I can put together now for you. When do you need it? Of course, 4 weeks. I try to stay within there. And then can we meet at your place where you feel the most comfortable? Because I'll be able to see, hey, you have, all these clothes, but you don't have any white shirts. Let's get you a white shirt. And if you don't have one, I will be more than happy just to make sure that you have one. Even if your budget is, $1,000 and we're at $999 for your suit, I will give you a shirt because it's something that you need. You need it, I'd rather you have it than think that you're just going to be nickeled and dimed to death. I won't. I cannot in good conscience do that to anybody. I've been there. Again, as a person who's, hated their body and their shape throughout my entire, younger years going into my adult life. I hated the way I looked. I hated shopping for stuff. And then you go and you maybe find something and you just get nickeled and dimed. It's like, oh, you want an extra button here? That's going to be $50. You want this here? Oh, you want your shirt to be a little longer because you have long arms? Oh, that's going to cost you. Now it's just like, now I'm in a position to do that for people. And I won't, if this is what you need, this is what you like, I'd rather you have it. If I'm capable of doing that, I'll do that.
That's awesome. Well, I need a lot of things. Because one of my problems, and maybe a lot of people are women especially, is I have pieces. I don't have outfits. And so I'm like, this is a really great shirt and nothing to wear it with. These are the pants I love that fit me, but they don't go with anything. And so that's one thing that I need help with is filling out the wardrobe. Instead of, a whole new wardrobe. I need to work with what I've got.
Work what you got.
Because I like the pieces I have. I just, like I said, I don't have anything to wear it with.
And especially in this economy, nobody can afford to go ahead and just redo their whole wardrobe on a whim. You just can't. Not with gas being $5. No, you cannot. If when we meet and we get your measurements and stuff like that, I will usually ask you, hey, what do you like? What do you not like? What do you like about your wardrobe? What do you not like about it? And let's build on that, men and women. Let's build on that because nobody has the time, none of us normal people have the time and money to just say, oh, well, just go ahead and build me, something new,
Wouldn't that be great?
so stuff like that. If you say you have a shirt that you really, you like and you want to wear it, let's build off of that. Let's build a jacket that works around it. Let's build, maybe a vest that works around it. Let's build pants that work around it. I even make hoodies. Let's build a hoodie that you can put with it, a little button-up hoodie that you can show off the little shirt with a little hoodie over top, overcoats, fall season's coming up. Just, it gives me an idea and it lets me be creative. It lets me dig into my creative side, figuring out what those pieces are for you.
Now, see, that's the creative side. Like, so you're musician. I keep wanting to say musician.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you know me, it's probably the same thing.
Right, that's why it keeps coming out.
It's the same thing.
No, but you're a creative person, so that's great. So you get all kinds of ways to be creative.
Yeah, give me a chance to expound. I would love to. Like I said, if you have something that you need to make, and you're just not quite sure what it is, or if you're just like, my favorite thing, especially in doing both of these jobs, is go for it. Whatever you think.
Yeah.
Okay. Done. At that point, you will get a whole storyboard from me. And some of the customers that I've worked with will tell you, I'll send you a storyboard of like, this is you in this look, and this look, and this look. I do use a lot of AI to do that, but it helps me convey what I'm trying to build for you. I know a lot of people nowadays are like, oh, I see AI and I hate AI and da-da-da-da-da-da. As a musician, I'm 100, and I agree with you 100%. I don't want a computer being able to do what I do on the stage. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But for fashion, if I'm trying to show you this idea that I have in my head, I do use AI, and I will show you, hey, this is Tanya in this green, and this blue, and this black, and this, or in this black, and this black jacket, or in these, in this outfit, so you can kind of see what I am trying to convey if I just can't use the words to convey it.
One of the things with the AI, if you use it as a tool, it's helpful.
Yes.
All the time, but not as a replacement or a substitute. But as a tool. 'Cause I use AI all the time. Now, I'd like to say, because I do graphic design, so I'll do a lot of things in AI. But then I'll go and rebuild it. But it helps me to flesh out some of those ideas. So I'm like, okay, here's what it looks like. Now I've got to go rebuild it as a graphic designer, because then all the things, but it's a tool. So
and especially and like I say, I don't use it with music. Period. That's my strong line in the sand with that one. But for clothing, I get just like the same example we're talking about these green pants. If you wanted to see what this fabric, if we're both wearing the same fabric, it's easy for me to just say, okay, well, these are what your pockets would look like. There you go. You see what I mean? Mine don't have pockets. Now yours do. Now you can see what I mean. Versus being like, okay, well, let's put it together and then put it on you. Just to be like, nope. And let's take that back off of you. You know what I mean? It's just easier. So any person that works with me, our first meeting, I will usually snap a picture and I will say, hey, I have an idea. If you want me to run with it, and I will usually give you a full layout of all the ideas that I have for you. That way you're not locked into one choice. And sometimes maybe I will throw in something that you weren't even not appreciating, that you weren't even thinking of. As far as us building stuff, if you like a lot of blues and I throw in a casual maroon in there, it's for a reason.
Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Now, how long does this initial session take?
I try to do no less than about 30 minutes, because I can get your measurements and everything that you need, and just in a passing conversation. If we're sitting at the bar and you catch me beside one of the pianos, coming off stage, and you're like, hey, get my measurements real quick, I can do that very quickly. But our initial meeting, no less than about 30 minutes, but no more than about 2 hours. Just for us to exploratory questions, me get to know you, learn little things about you, get your measurements, figure out what you need. Again, timeline, budget, colors, fabrics. Do you get cold easily? Do you get hotter than it already is? Learn that and kind of build on that. But no less than 30, no more than about 2 hours.
Like I said, Shantae, she was raving. She was like, oh, it was so much fun. She was like, you should do it. And then but she also threw in, you don't have to buy anything, just do it. I'm like, well,
Well, in this case, for you, yes, I would, even if it's something that you wanted, if you wanted me to have your measurements on file so we can build something down the line, that wouldn't bother me at all. At least one, I would have it.
To get an idea of what's happening,
And then in that case too, if something does pop up on you, I already have it. You can say, hey, oh my God, I need a jacket, or hey, I ripped my jacket. I need to get another one as soon as you can. Can you throw me out another one? Done.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I already have your measurements, and I'm a night owl anyway. So if you rip an event, you rip your jacket at an event, you get home, you forget about it, and you get up, and you're like, oh man, I forgot to do anything about this jacket. You know, hey Johnny, I need another jacket.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I cannot wait. I'm gonna have to make an appointment with you.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of making an appointment, if people want to work with you, how do they get a hold of you?
The easiest way to reach me is by phone. My phone is always on me. And if you don't see my phone, it's because it's in my pocket and I have my watch on me as well. But the easiest way is by phone, either call or text. Or both, because nowadays everybody's phones are blowing up from scammer calls and things like that. Everybody has ways to kind of divert, getting scam calls all day long. So if we haven't talked before, shoot me a text message first. Hey, this is so-and-so. I wanted to talk about clothing. You might get a red thing from me saying thumbs up, or go ahead, give me a call, and then call right after. But I don't mind you blowing up my phone at all. Phone number, 850-602-1800, the easiest phone number you'll ever remember.
It really is. Super easy.
Yeah, yeah. 850-602-1800, 602-1800. Simple.
Yay! Fantastic. I love it. Now, tell me, what words of wisdom would you like to leave our listeners with?
The words of wisdom. I'll give you two. Okay. I'll give you one that hit home for me over this past year, and then one that I'm kind of living by. Not so PG, but I read something after I was going through everything I was going through last year that said, if you smell poop, for example, if you smell poop everywhere you go, check your shoes.
Right.
So if every situation you walk into, you can find a fatal flaw in every little thing, everywhere you go. You get home and this ain't right. You go to work, this ain't right. You go over to, this person's house and they're not right. You go over this venue, that's not right. Check your shoes. That's been a big thing. Because me being detail oriented and a perfectionist, it's very easy for me to kind of really laser focus in on something not being right. Whether it is or not is besides the point. The fact that if everywhere I go, I'm bringing that kind of negativity with me. Right. Check your shoes. Just let that go. Yeah. If there's something that needs to be fixed, fix it. Yeah, that makes sense. But so that's one big thing that's gotten me through a lot this past year. And another big thing, words of wisdom, is always find time to find something that you enjoy just every day, whether it be 5 minutes or a couple hours, but find something to enjoy about that day. And then when you do, if anybody else comes to mind while you're finding that thing, reach out to that person if you can, because times are hard. We've gone through pandemics and gas prices and, job loss and then job gains and then job loss again, personal losses, financial losses, things like that. It's tough out there. So as you're checking your shoes, check on your people as well. Take those moments to, love your life, love what you can, about what you have in front of you, and then take that moment to share that with somebody else, because you don't know what anybody's going through. Right.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a long time coming, and I'm glad. I hope to do very, very, very many more of these with you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.